Hey all, Mr. Thibodeau here. So we're going to go and jump directly into lesson 39. This is, you have just 2 lessons this week, which is still kind of a lot. So I have dropped down, you don't need to do any Alex this week. And you also won't be doing the written practice. You'll be just doing the mental math, problem solving, and the practice set. Okay. So now let's go into the work. The good news is here is circumference of a circle. Heck yeah, we did that in class, my dudes. So let's jump right into it. So we can use a compass to draw a circle. Okay, that allows it so that it is the same distance away at all points. Now that distance is going to be called our radius. Okay, the radius is half of diameter. Let's go ahead and write that down. Radius equals half the diameter. So 2r equals the diameter. Okay. Now, no matter what point on the outside of the circle, from the center to the outside, is always the radius. Okay. And if I draw a line through the center that hits 2 points, that's going to be my diameter. Okay, it's got to be a straight line, right? Because that's what a line is in math. It's always straight. So the circumference is essentially it is basically the perimeter of a circle. We use a different word because the circumference has kind of specific connotations to it. It has its own equation on how to find it. Now we did this equation in class when we were talking about the pizza. 2 times pi times r. Okay. Now remember, your radius equals r, and pi, that little squiggle symbol, equals 3.14. Realistically, it's an infinite number. It goes on and on and on and on and on, smaller and smaller and smaller. There's an equation to find pi, though you don't have to do it. But basically, you would. They figured this out, that when you take a circle and you actually measure out the circumference. Oops, sorry. And you divide by 2 times r, you're going to get this pi number. Okay, so if you did to find pi, so pi equals your 2 times r divided by the divided by the circumference. Or circumference divided by the other? I think it's circumference divided by the other. Circumference divided by 2 times r. Okay. They also found out that using for the area, which is pi r squared, you could do this reversed. If you knew the area, if you measured it all out, you would still get this same number, this same infinite number, no matter what circle you drew. This number would constantly come up, this 3.14259 repeating number. So it's kind of the cool thing about pi. The other thing is, so we have 2 times pi times r for the circumference. You could also just say that the circumference equals your pi times the diameter. Now, anytime you are actually trying to do this math, just go ahead and use 3.14. Unless you have a calculator, then actually click the pi button. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more exact. Okay, so the circumference is exactly pi times the diameter, so 3.14 diameters. Okay, and it's kind of cool how that works. Okay, now See 3.14159, and goes on much more. They're still finding new digits of pi. All right. The diameter of the truck wheel is 35 inches. How far does the wheel roll in one turn? So what is the circumference, right? Because if we're trying to figure out how much distance it's covering, the circumference, that circle, can be laid out, and it would be, your diameter is here, so you'd have one of those, then you have two of those, then you have three, and then you have 1.14 of those. Okay, so diameter, 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 and then a small 0.14 diameter. Okay, or 3.14 diameters is your total circle. Okay. I don't think you guys will have much difficulty with this. If you're dealing with a ratio like this, right, 8 divided by 12, pi is being multiplied to both of them, you can just simplify it to 8 over 12, right, because you can get rid of the pi. They're going to cancel each other out. And then from 8 to 12, you can just simplify that to 2/3. If you have questions with this, please let me know. Just do the practice set. Practice set is a little long, goes to M, but it's still no written practice today. Okay, so the practice set A through M. All right, guys, have a good one.